The older students who are now in the university, they finished secondary school not long ago. Can we have Demilade, Victory, and Igoluwa to come to the stage? And let's hear from them. All right, so you want to greet your wonderful teachers.
Good morning. Good morning, our esteemed teachers. My name is James Oluwademilade Joseph.
All right, so Demilade is an engineering student in a federal university in Nigeria. And that's?
Good day, everyone. My name is Samson Victory Ife.
Okay, Victory is also an undergraduate in a federal university in Nigeria, studying psychology. And next?
Good day, everyone. My name is Akintola Ikweoluwa.
Thank you. Akintola Ikweoluwa is also an undergraduate, studying at a private university. So that gives us a mix of both private and public sector. They have experienced us in diverse classrooms across the country. As I said earlier, today's event is not the regular training we are used to. We want to hear from the people who have benefited from what we have offered before now and see if we have been doing excellently and probably learn from them what else we can do. So, two young ladies and a young man in the middle. Today we have chosen to do it the other way. Most of the time, the men dominate in affairs, especially in this part of the world. Victor, what has it been like for you? When you were going into university, you certainly had expectations. Can you help us to understand? Are you very impressed so far with what is going on in the federal university where you're studying?
Well, honestly, no, I am not very impressed, because advancing from secondary school to university, I expected to find myself in a more coordinated environment, coordinated and organized in the sense that we should have contingency plans in case of crisis or casualties. And this is not something I have seen in the school environment. Yes. Infrastructure too is another issue there, where a class of 100, a class that is supposed to take 100 students is accommodating more than 300 students for a specific course. Materials too is another issue. For instance, I take a course where I have to be in the laboratory, and in this course, you are supposed to have more than enough materials because this is a practical course, and practical is like a very good way to learn. So you need materials to be able to understand whatever you are being taught. So you find out that in a group of 25 students, you have limited materials, more like just and whatever experiments you are performing.
All right, Demilade, what is it like where you are? Very impressed?
I'm not very impressed with the state of the university. When I was coming from secondary school, transitioning from secondary school to the university, I was expecting, because my dream has always been to be an engineer, so I was expecting transitioning from theoretical mathematics and physics towards substantial laboratory experiences, workshop experiences. But then when I got to the university, I discovered that the equipments that are available in these laboratories are not enough to cater for the available students. So I did a course when I initially entered, introductory physics, and the number of students offering that course are about 4,000.
4,000?
4,000 students, not just engineering students, other physical sciences too, offer that course. And they split us into group. Each group can be like 35 persons with only one stand for a group. And then only 2 people end up doing the practical, with the other 33 people rather, being onlookers. And then at the end of the day, the remaining people just copy the values from the other people and then plot the graphs without actually gaining any knowledge. And being an engineering major, one thing that is key for me is being able to transfer knowledge from theory to practice. And if you are not able to transfer knowledge from theory to practice, that will lead to we raising sub engineers that are not up to par, they are not globally competitive. And again, the infrastructure in the classrooms. Imagine teaching a class of 4,000 and then there's no sound system, there's not enough projection, there's no projection system to be able to cater for the needs of all the students. Then the students will not be learning anything. So most of our learning, you have to do it based on personal effort, not because you are really getting quality from the classes.
Okay. Well, I expect it to be significantly different for you in the private university. What's going on? Very impressed?
I have been impressed to an extent in the university I am in now, but having gone through an international secondary school and then passed through Dr. Ogudoro's training, I had these high expectations for universities. It was met, but it wasn't met fully where I am now. I feel they are trying their best and they are doing the best in their capacity, but there are still some issues that haven't been settled yet. Like their rules, for instance. I guess that when there is no law, there is no sin. But then there is an extent to which you should put rules on adults. How are they going to go into the world and function as adults if they are in this university system and they don't even have freedom of speech sometimes, or they don't have freedom of movement? I guess you're trying to inculcate values in us, but there are other ways that can come about. But I like a lot of things about the university too, because there is this teacher-lecturer relationship. You can approach your lecturer at official hours. You can ask them to explain something you don't understand in class. You can ask them why you got a certain score. So that relationship is there. If you give your lecturer respect, your lecturer will respect you too. So I feel there is much room for improvement. But where I am now, they are open to suggestions. It just depends on how those suggestions are passed across to them.
Okay, you talked about rules. Can you give us an idea of what you mean by rules that you feel very uncomfortable with?
Okay, so for young ladies...
The way you are sounding, it seems it's a mission university. It's owned by a religious organization.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay, so for young ladies, your skirts can't be on your knee. It has to be like 3 inches, 4 inches below your knee. And then your top can't be tight. They will tell you that it's too fitting. You have to wear loose tops, different things like that. And the curfew too. Before, our curfew was 8 o'clock in the night, but now the Student Association has coupled with the school administration and they have increased our curfew to 9:45. That's what I said about them being open.
What do you mean by curfew? I assume we don't know anything in English.
Curfew is the time students are expected to be in their hostels. You can walk around in your hostels, but you're not allowed to be found outside at that certain time. So the curfew for everyone at my university is 9:45.
At 9:45, you are restricted to the hostel.
Yes.
You can't be, for example, in your classroom, you can't be in the library.
No, you can't.
Okay, that sounds interesting. In Nigeria?
Yes.
In university?
Yes.
Are you the only ones, or some other universities operate at that level? You definitely have friends in some other mission schools.
Yes.
Is this like something that happens in other places?
Yes, it does.
There's curfew.
Yes.
Okay, so if you choose to, as a student interested in research, stay in your classroom till 12 midnight, working on your books and investigating things, you won't be able to do that.
No, you would be sanctioned because they have provided reading spaces in the hostels. So you have a reading room in each hostel, like 3 reading rooms or 4, depending on the amount of blocks in that particular hostel.
Okay, still on you before I get back to you. Do you have an idea where they are going to? What informed these rules that we don't have in public universities?
Maybe because in private universities, parents have paid this certain amount of money saying that, okay, their children should be safe, they should finish at a certain time, no harm should come to their children. So from the perspective of the university, I think they are trying to do everything in their power that you won't hear of rape cases, you won't hear of assaults in the night, you won't hear of gun violence.
Okay, finally, if you were running these places, will this be exactly how you will go about it, given your experience and what you are in the university aspiring to achieve?
If I were to run that place, I wouldn't just impose these rules on students. I can get help from professionals, not necessarily from Nigeria, because Nigeria is trying to work on their own university system. I can get help from professionals around the world. I can research on how to run a proper university, make the student body more engaged with the administration so that the students can be happy, the lecturers can be happy, and the workers can be happy.
Okay, so that reflects what the pupils were telling us earlier in the day. They want you would like to be involved in the learning process, including even in administration. You have your own ideas that you believe can be useful.
Yes.
All right, so Victory, going forward, what would you like to see improve in the system?
What I would like to see first of all, like I said earlier, contingency plans, because there have been times where casualties happen and the events that are supposed to take place just stop for the day. So I would like if they should put contingency plans in place, like what you used to tell us, whatever is capable of going wrong will go wrong. So they should have a plan for when things hit the roof. Yeah, and another thing is the infrastructure, like I said, because we have like limited ventilation. So I would also like if they can improve that. And students, PDA, yes, public address system, PAD. Yeah, so I would like if that is available. Because in a class of over 300 students, you can't expect the lecturer to shout to reach everybody. So it's better if they would impute PDA in each classroom so every student can be able to listen when the lecturer talks. Yeah.
Okay, David, over to you. What improvements would you like to see?
Okay, so I would like to see up-to-date equipment in workshops and labs. So some of the equipments that we use are date as far back as the 90s. So modern equipment that would make our students globally competitive. And then for infrastructure as well, the state of the hostels in many public universities rather, is not very it's nothing to write home about. So to make the students more psychologically in tune with what they are doing. Because if you sleep in a place that is not hygienic, that is not comfortable, there are tendencies that you will not be able to learn properly in such an environment. So the hostels, I would like to see renovations and some level of comfort for the students. I also like that students to be more actively engaged in extracurriculars, because if we are restricted to just our career paths, there are other things that we can also learn. Like as an engineering student, I'm interested in public speaking, spelling, and all of those things, which can help accelerate my career further, even beyond the confines of engineering. So I would like university leadership to pay attention to extracurriculars.
All right, thank you very much, and we wrap it up there. Can we put our hands together for them? We have heard you. Thank you, and so we'll get back to you after the event so that we can work together to make things get better for our country. Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together for them?